recording.
Yeah. And then
Okay, kia ora everybody. I'm not too sure if we're all here, but I'm Karen from PMAANZ and I'm part of the communications team. We've got the lovely Jeannie from Veteran Affairs who will be talking to us how we can support our veterans and also the new invoicing system through getting rid of Green Cross to go to ProCare. So I will lead you, carry on, Jeannie.
Perfect, thank you. So yeah, as mentioned, my name is Jenny. I'm a case manager at Veterans Affairs. I've been here for about 3 years now, so I would like to think I know what I'm doing, but I'm sure, you know, it's always something to learn. So essentially, just as a start off, just so people are aware, so what we do, so we are a funding agency. So we get requests from other clinicians and then we look at funding those requests. So our main purpose is we support veterans with qualifying service. So we help the veterans themselves and their family by funding treatment and rehabilitation for their accepted service-related conditions. So the way we work is very similar to ACC, except when a veteran applies to us to have a condition covered, they are always on our books. So we never have a end time where the injury will recover like ACC. So yeah, once they're with us, they're with us. We say we're similar to ACC in the in the terms of applying. We use a lot of the same structures that ACC have in place, and then we just adapt them to our way of working. So I did say qualifying veterans and their accepted service-related conditions. I'll go a bit more into that now. Perfect. So there are two definitions of a veteran, and so this comes directly from the Veteran Support Act 2014. So we have a Scheme 1 veteran. So that is any person within the New Zealand Defence Force who served before the 31st of March 1974. And so that includes World War II, which we do still have a few World War II veterans floating around. They're also Korean War, Vietnam War. This also includes territorial forces and compulsive military training, as well as just general service. And then the other classification of veteran is a Scheme 2 veteran. So this is where we go into qualifying operational service. So this is any service person within the New Zealand Defence Force that has been deployed on a qualifying operational service. Some of these services include Afghanistan, Iraq, Bougainville, Cambodia, Timor-Leste and East Timor. So that's the kind of two main divides, and that date of the 31st of March 74 is because ACC came in the 1st of April 74, which means that and the idea is that the Scheme 2 veterans that do not have a qualifying operational service, they should be covered under ACC for any work-related injuries. So that's kind of the main two differences there of what is classified as a veteran and how that one is determined. And once again, that main thing is the Veteran Support Act is where that is determined. So the process of how veterans end up with us is they will submit an application form, and this application form needs to be completed by the veteran themselves as well as a medical professional, so their GP, their specialist, a audiologist, a appropriate medical professional for the type of condition they are submitting for. So they submit their application, it comes into us, it goes to our decision officers. So our decision officers look at what's called statement of principles to determine if the injury that they're applying for has been contributed, their service has either contributed to the injury or has made it worse, or is the cause of that condition. So once they have an outcome, they'll be assigned a case manager. And then that case manager is the same case manager for all of their conditions. So one case manager, so veterans can apply for as many conditions as they feel can apply for as many conditions that they believe could be caused by their service, and then they'll have their same case manager. After they've been assigned their case manager will get in touch with them to let them know the outcome of their claim, and then they'll have those treatments about treatment and talk about what is the next step based on that accepted condition. So then once they have their accepted conditions, they then can go to a few different treatment providers. So the next slide we look at, so if they are coming to their GP clinic, when they have an accepted condition, they're given a treatment card. You can see it on the screen now. It has their name, their client number, their service number, and their NHI number. On the back of that treatment card, it will have all the conditions that they have accepted with us. So every time that a veteran applies for a new condition and it gets approved, that will then be listed on the back of their treatment card. So some really common ones will be hearing loss, osteoarthritis, knees, hips, anything along those lines. If they have cataracts, any mental health conditions, anything like that, anything that they have accepted will be listed on that card. So then going forward, if they were to go to their GP to have an appointment in relation to one of those accepted conditions, the receptionist or the person that is kind of taking the booking for that will be able to look at their treatment card, and if the reason for their visit on that particular day for that appointment is relating to one of those accepted conditions, then Veterans Affairs will pay the invoice for that. So we fund every kind of doctor's appointments in relation to their accepted conditions. So currently, those invoices are meant to go to Green Cross. However, April 1st this year, we'll be changing to ProCare. So it's a similar process. So the kind of only difference is that practices need to register with ProCare. So ProCare require you to sign up on their platform in order to process the fees. We're aware that some clinics may be already registered with ProCare and be on ProCare's system, but if not, ProCare should be going out to all the GP practices and pharmacies, advising them of the change and helping you onto their new system. If you have heard from them, that's great. We're off to a good start. But if not, there is an email address that they can be contacted, and that is just veteran.services@procare.co.nz. And then all IT inquiries and everything like that should also go directly to ProCare. The main change for the veteran will be that after their appointment, the invoice should go to ProCare, but ProCare are also introducing a voucher system, which will be presented to the veteran along with their prescription. So if they are prescribed a medication relating to their accepted condition, that will then go, that's when the voucher will be given out, and then the veteran will take that to the pharmacy to collect their prescription, because then the pharmacist will then also send their invoice to ProCare and will take care of that one. So more information will come out about that a little bit closer to the time. And ProCare will be kind of heading that up. If there are any concerns or there are questions about particular veterans, please do let that veteran's case manager know, and we will do our very best to assist you on that where we can. It is also a learning process for us. So we're also going through the ProCare training together. So we'll all be in the trenches and it'll be fine. And so the other thing I just wanted to just touch on is when it comes to prescription medications, so there is a process around things that might be prescribed from GPs that are not exactly medications as such. So, for example, we know that doctors and GPs and everything like that may prescribe supplements or things that aren't, or things that are typically over-the-counter medications. If that were to happen, if a GP was to prescribe over-the-counter medications, we do require pre-approval for that. So that would come directly to the veteran's case manager. Hopefully the veterans should know who their case manager is and be able to pass on their email address to you. If not, if in doubt, always just email our main veterans line, which is just veterans@nzdf.mil.nz, and then that will be forwarded to the case manager, and the case manager will get back to you. It's just that, pre-approval is really important. Any treatment that is performed by the veterans GP within the clinic, we don't require any pre-approval for. So if there's a suspicious mole that the GP is wanting to kind of whip out, if that's all done in clinic, then no pre-approval whatsoever. If there is going to be treatment outside of the practice, so if the GP is referring to a specialist or wanting to refer for an x-ray or anything along those lines, then pre-approval is required. We do let veterans know that pre-approval is required. It is also listed on the back of that treatment card, but unfortunately sometimes veterans do forget, and it does leave them in a really difficult position, because if they're referred for treatment that doesn't have pre-approval, then they're not eligible for reimbursement, and so that can leave some veterans in quite a financial sticky situation, which we don't want. So if in doubt, pre-approval. No one will ever get annoyed on our end if you're asking for approval. Always a good time.
I've got a question, Jeannie, with regards to the medication supplements and over-the-counter medications. A lot of our veterans are more mature than some, and with their normal prescription, when they come in to see the doctor about something with regards to veteran affairs, 9 times out of 10 they'll get a pocket script of paracetamol as well. So will that cause an issue?
No, so paracetamol, things like that are fine. The main one that we see a lot is like a lot of vitamins. So if vitamins have been recommended for like vitamin C, or we see a lot of like magnesium supplements, things like that, that can definitely be related to a accepted condition, but as it's a supplement and not necessarily a medication, that's when we can still look at covering it, but we just need that pre-approval. So with Panadol and paracetamol and all of those things, because they are medications, they're fine. It's mainly just your over-the-counter non-medical prescriptions per se, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Someone's just asked how we get pre-approval if we don't know who the case manager is.
So if you don't know who the case manager is, contact the main veterans line. So that's that veterans email. We do have an 0800 number, but it can be very busy at certain times, things like that. And so we, if we value your time and we don't want you waiting all day on hold sort of thing. So we would recommend that if you're not sure who the veterans case manager is, if you contact the main veterans line, so that's the veterans@nzdf.mil.nz, and just say the name of your veteran, that will then come into our team, who will look up their case manager on our system, forward the email to them, and then the case manager will get directly back in touch with you. And then that way you'll know who their case manager is for future reference as well.
So is there going to be a bit of leeway with some of our veterans that have been in the system for quite a long time and we don't actually have a copy of their card on our file or anything like that? We've just got what they've told us?
What do you mean in terms of leeway, sorry?
So like if we, I don't know, trying to think of what some of our patients have had. whether or not, so like if they've got depression, etc., or and they've got osteoarthritis,
Yeah.
and we've been treating them for years on that, and we've actually never seen the card. We've only been given a service number.
Mhm.
Should we be keeping a copy of the card on our file?
I would say going forward, that would be the best practice to do, just in case we don't want it to get to a situation where, if say the veteran was letting you guys know that, oh yeah, I've got treatment for my ears, and then so they have several appointments that go to ProCare, and then later down the track ProCare come back to us and say, hey, it's not an accepted condition, and now all of a sudden the veteran's got 5 unpaid invoices that they have to pay because we cannot, because it's not an accepted condition. I think that would be the best way to avoid kind of pile-ups like that for the veteran, because at the end of the day, if there is an invoice for a condition or an appointment for a condition that's not accepted, we're not able to pay that. Yeah, so I think having a copy of their latest treatment card on file would be the best thing to do. When we supply the treatment cards to veterans, it also comes with a letter that advises them to take the treatment card with them to all of their appointments. If they have lost their treatment card, they can let us know and we can send them out a new one. So the veterans should always kind of have that treatment card on them.
Okay. Another question we've got is the email addresses can be part of the presentation, and can we have a copy of the presentation on our PMAANZ website?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I was just looking for the boss man's approval. Yes, yeah, we can definitely put it on the website 100%. And yeah, can definitely get you those contact emails as well.
That would be great. Thanks. I'll let you carry on.
No, all good. So the next slide. Oh, what have we got on here?
You okay?
Nope, this is not the right slideshow, Phil. Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties.
Ah.
This is not. We've lost half my presentation.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Ah. Right. I thought it was. Okay.
No.
Can you go on? Can you continue? And
Yep.
we'll just stop sharing.
Perfect.
That's
Okay. Wow. Here we go. So that was kind of for the GP side and how it may look in a clinic. Then when we go on to other areas, so our main kind of treatment that we look at providing is physiotherapy, chiropractor, acupuncture, rongoa services. So with those services, what we do encourage is for our veterans to get in touch with us in the first instance, or we pick up that they need this treatment on one of our conversations. However, we do know that that is not always the case. So there may be instances where veterans will go directly to the treatment provider that they're wanting, so chiropractor, physio, rongoa, all the rest.
We're not going to get one, sorry. Are you okay? My apologies.
That's okay, Phil.
Okay. Well, we will upload one to the website, and then we
That
can
would be wonderful.
we will get one there eventually. Okay. So yeah, the veteran may come directly to the clinic themselves and ask for treatment. So at that point, another example that we see is a veteran will say that they've got pre-approval, when pre-approval can only come from Veterans Affairs. So we would always recommend that you check with us for pre-approval for things like treatment. However, when it comes to treatment for physical conditions, what we would recommend is that when they come in, if they're asking for physio for their knee, the very first thing to do would be to check their treatment cards to see if they had a right knee condition. So mainly just matching up their treatment card with what they're wanting treated. At that stage, what we do ask for is we have what's called an initial treatment request form. That form is available on our website, and when we get the right slideshow, it will be in there as well. But essentially, the initial treatment request form just has some basic details. So it just asks for the veteran's name, their address, and then there are a few clinical questions in there. So what that will do is it just kind of asks for an overview of the veteran's presentation. If this is their first time seeking treatment, or if they've talked to you about other treatment they may have received. And then at the very bottom, it just asks for the number of sessions requested. So we can request a maximum of 12, we can approve a maximum of 12 sessions per form. The cost, and then just your practice details. So the name of the clinic, the provider, the professional body you're registered with, all of that jazz. And then that can be sent back into us with the invoice for that first consult. So that can either, once again, go straight to the case manager if the veteran knows who their case manager is. If they don't, it can just go to the main veterans line, and they will distribute that to the case manager, who will then process that for you. So what happens is we get that initial treatment request form in, and then we review it to make sure all the information's there. We send it to our RA team, so they are our in-house rehab advisors. They check everything out, make sure it's the appropriate treatment for the type of injury. They give either the thumbs up or the thumbs down. We rarely give the thumbs down, but if they give us the thumbs up, it will get sent back to the case manager, who will then contact the person that they got it emailed from and let you know that it's been approved. They will send you the invoicing instructions. And then when we create a purchase order for you, ongoing treatment is really the main times that we'll create an ongoing purchase order. So a big difference with our purchase orders as opposed to ACC purchase orders is that ours are very specific. So it'll be a very specific time frame. So depending on how often appointments have been requested on the initial treatment request, whether the clinician recommends, weekly sessions, fortnightly sessions, or monthly sessions, that's how long we'll give you the purchase order for. So if you request weekly sessions, we'll give you 3-6 months. If it's once a month, we'll give you 12 months, so on and so forth. It will be for the exact amount of those sessions. So if you've said that sessions are $150 each, then we'll give you the 12 times the $150. And it's very specific. So if for any reason the prices change, or you invoice outside of those approved dates, that's when there can be a hold up in billing. But we will give you all of this information when we approve it. So you'll actually get 2 approvals. One will be directly from the case manager, and they will send it to the person who has emailed in the request. So whether it be from your admin teams, or sometimes we get it direct from the clinician themselves. So it will go back to them. But also when we create a purchase order, it is auto-generated in the system that we use, that you will get a automatic purchase order email. When we have the slideshow, there is a image of that as well. So I've generated one of those to show you what it will look like. And now that email will always go to the email address that you were registered with us when you first signed up and you got your provider ID from us. We can't change that automated email. That will always just go to that one. So that's why we also, as the case managers, send it to the person who's requested it as well. And essentially, so that's the process for pre-approval. And then once you've got the approval, you've got those 12 sessions. Towards the end of those 12 sessions, you can request more. So if there is still things that need work, or it's not improving, or you want to try different things, there is what's called a further treatment request form. Also available on our website, very similar to the initial request form, but it just has a couple of different questions about how the treatment's gone already, and what if you think there needs to be a specialist involvement or anything like that. If you recommend that it should be looked at by a orthopedic surgeon or somebody else, you can write that in that box as well. We will get that, have a look, and then we can look at approving a referral for that recommendation. The main thing is, with that kind of side of it, with the invoicing, the system is really, really temperamental. So in that email that you get from the case manager, it should give you the instructions of how to invoice, but it is, like I said, a really, really finicky system. The email address that the invoices are sent to is not a monitored email, so it is an automatic system. So if there are any issues whatsoever with invoicing, do go back to your case manager, and that will be the person who sent you the approval. So have their details with the veterans record on your system, just so it's kind of who to get in touch with. With physio, chiropractor, rongawa, that's not on the ProCare system. So that doesn't get sent to ProCare. Your initial invoice is attached with that initial treatment request and sent back into us. And then from there, from memory, the other area that we want to talk about was dentistry. So once again, there needs to be an accepted condition for a dental work, and what we would cover in the for the veteran is, if they go to a dentist clinic, the dentist needs to check that they do have an oral related condition, and they can do an exam. We would pay for the exam only. And then that invoice can be, once again, case manager or the main veterans line. That invoice can be sent directly to us. And if there are recommendations for other treatment, we would require a quote and then the clinical rationale for the link between their accepted condition and the treatment that's being done. So just because they have a dental condition approved doesn't mean that we will automatically pay for all dental related things. So for example, if they had a missing tooth, so on some veterans cards, they will say, missing tooth number. So if they needed, say, an implant for that tooth, we could look at that. But if they needed a full set of dentures for one missing tooth, that's not typically something that we would look at funding. But if in doubt, always reach out to us, and we're happy to get back in touch and help you with that. The main point is that pre-approval and just referring elsewhere. If there is work or there is something and you need another opinion or somewhere else outside of what you've been given approval for, get in touch with us, and we're happy to walk you through it or point you in the right directions, or let you know what we need in order to get that over the line for the veteran.
So Jeannie, how long does it take to get pre-approval?
That's a really good question. So it's one of those things where we can't say for sure. Some days we get turnaround in less than an hour. Other days, it can take up to a week, 2 weeks. And the only reason that fluctuates is because it depends what else is in the rehab queue. If we have all of our information, it can be a lot quicker. If there is a quote and the additional clinical information, everything like that, we can turn out it pretty fast. However, if we're missing bits of information and then have to come back to you and then it goes back in queue, it can kind of stretch that process out a little bit. But it really depends on a lot of other factors. But it is pretty quick, and if there is an urgent need as well, do communicate with that to us, because then we can use that to kind of triage things a little bit better as well and move things up the queue. I must admit, I have fully lost my map plan with the lack of PowerPoint, so I do apologize. Was there any other questions or any other things that you would like me to cover, or just re-explain anything?
You had something about what you can offer to the family and whānau of our veterans.
Yeah. Perfect, thank you. So with family, so the main thing that we have for family is we do provide counselling services. So if there are family members that are affected by the veteran service and by their accepted conditions, we can look at counselling and psychology support for them. So that would need to be through the case managers. So what normally happens in those instances is family members will either reach directly out to us and say, you know, my husband's a veteran, my dad's a veteran, however it may be, and we get them a separate case manager from their family, just so it's not a conflict of interest there. They have their own profile in our system, so it's all very separate. So we offer them psychology services if needed. The other main thing that we offer is we have a set of what's classed as nuclear veterans. So that includes J-Force, Vietnam, Mararoa testing, and we offer those family members, so children, genetic counselling if need be, and genetic testing if they are concerned that their parent's service has related in sort of genetic conditions. So the way we would go about that is, once again, would get the family to contact us directly, get them a case manager. The case manager would walk them through the steps on how we would do that. And if need be, we would contact their GP and ask for some support in that. The main thing we ask them to do is just have a chat with their GP first and see if there is a referral through the public system that would get them seen, you know, in a timely manner. If not, we look at doing that completely privately. So we would then come back to the GP and ask for a referral to a private genetic specialist. With that, because we're not genetic doctors, we're not specifically asking for a genetic disorder or anything like that to be found. What we do is we put it back over to the genetic specialist, and they have what's called a genetic counselling appointment before they do the test. So that's when they'll sit down with the doctor, talk about their concerns or what their health concerns may be, what things they may have noticed. And from that, the doctor will then decide what kind of test to run, what they're looking for. And then they have a counselling appointment after the genetic test itself to go over the results and kind of explain what they found. So those are the two main things that we do for family. We also do supply weekly compensation as well for veterans with accepted service-related conditions. That means they can no longer work. Once again, really similar to ACC's process. On the application form where the veteran is filling out for an accepted condition, there will be a section on there that states if you're not able to work more than 30 hours a week, please complete this. It will just require an extra kind of sign off from the doctor, and then that will come into us, and then we can look at that as well. And with that comes all the other things of weekly compensation that may or may not be applicable. So if the veteran is, say, getting treatment and they're a single parent and childcare needs to be sorted while they're getting treatment, we can look at things like that as well. So there's a wide range of things that we do. And what I would always say is, if there's any ever doubt or any questions or anything, contact us. The veteran can contact us. We're always open for questions. The more you know, we would much rather prefer you email us 100 times a day with questions, because then at least we know that, you know, you guys are asking, we're giving you the, you know, we're sending you in the right direction, we're getting the veteran the help that they need, everything like that. Like it, yeah, question away. I will get Phil to upload I will send you a copy of the slideshow, so that, yeah, we can put it on the website, and we'll have all of those email addresses and contact information in the slideshow as well. And our website has all of our contact information on it as well. There are sections there for providers about working with us. That's where you'll find all your forms and everything like that. But yeah, main veterans line, or if you know the case manager, directly to them.
Yes, I must admit, I've just Googled Veteran Affairs, and it's amazing what information is actually on there and all the
Oh.
forms that you're talking about.
I was going to say, look at him, he's happy now.
Yeah, I am happy. Like, yeah, much better than my presentation skills.
Has anybody else got any questions for Jeannie and Phil?
If you want to invite us back in 6 months or 6 weeks, I mean, that's always an option. I'm very happy for Jeannie to give her time to speak to any group that want to know a wee bit more about what Veteran Affairs does.
So whereabouts are you guys based?
We're Wellington.
Well, do you realise that we're having our
Wellington.
PMAANZ conference there?
Beg your pardon?
We're having our PMAANZ conference in Wellington this year.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
So we might be in touch with some
You
stuff.
would be happy to present.
Yeah.
That's great. I will pass that to the powers to be.
Mm.
Perfect.
But it actually, if it wasn't in Wellington, we can travel anyway. So, yeah.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look like there's any more questions that anybody's got, but I'd just like to thank you very much for all your presentations, and it was great to meet you and hear from you and put a face to Jeannie and to Phil.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks very much for the offer as well.
Yeah,
We're very
thank you,
happy
guys.
to let everyone know what's going on.
That's great. You know, we really appreciate it, and we will definitely put this up for our other colleagues that have not been able to attend. But it's very useful information, and like I said, I've just Googled the Veteran Affairs website, and I will be creating a little workbox on the reception's desk.
Brilliant.
Nice.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for those of you that have
Right.
attended as well.